What? Hey friends, and off we go with 5 minutes of more papery than a Vatican conclave. Champions League week, of course, and one that produced more turn-ups than the Seven Dwarfs Taylor, as the old saying goes. There was the Barcelona comeback, the Bayern defeat to Arsenal, and Rocky Santa Cruz in the quarter-finals. Let's start off with Turkey, where Galatasary are through to the last 8 of the Champions League for the first time ever, thanks to that 3-2 win in Gelsenkirchen. Here's Fanatic Lions in the quarter-final. This is how history is written. Where all the possibilities end, says the paper, Galatasaray begins. Photomac. These are the players who took the stars out of the sky and placed them on their chests. Fantastic stuff. Hurriyet. These Lions are crazy. Yeah, with their goal in the 95th minute in Germany, they got all of Turkey out in the street. Wow, reading these, you have to feel the rest of the European press could up their game a bit. Although the Turkish papers don't mention perhaps the best story from Gelsenkirchen, which was those Galatasaray fans trying to dig their way into the Schalke stadium with bare hands, borrowing to get into the Champions League. It's exactly the kind of thing that Platini is trying to stamp out. Well, anyway, Galatasaray's stock has never been higher, particularly among the other teams in the last 8, who are all desperate to get them as quarter-final opponents, as we'll see later on. But in the meantime, on to the other winners this week. Next up, Barcelona, who have the world falling at their feet all over again, even in the places you might not expect, like Milan, where Gazeta called Tuesday's 4-0 thumping a lesson from Messi. Habemus Lionel, says the grateful paper. He's from another planet, and hats off to the Martian. We had high hopes for Tuesday's game, but we can't complain after that performance. In Madrid too, Marca and As giving Barcelona the whole front page. Barca's back, say Marca. Are we in for a Barca-Real Mega Champions League Classico in the next round? Ask As, is it the game you're all dreaming about? I don't know. Is it the one about Anne Hathaway and the tub of lard? Well, anyway, in Catalonia, meanwhile, Wednesday's comeback against the Rossoneri sent them a little bit loopy. Sport, whose build-up to the game featured the fellow from The Shining in as guest editor. The comeback is possible. The comeback is possible. The comeback, etc., etc. Afterwards declared simply, hypothesis. Inside it, happiness has a name. Barca, Barca, Barca. This generation of players now has the comeback they needed. They have records all over, but never before have we seen them pull off something like this. It's like when Richard Keys went for a waxing. El Mundo Deportivo similarly impressed. What a night, they say. They also put the game up with Barca's greatest performances ever. Messi's team now has its magical performance, its epic, its comeback, its glory, they say. They have burned these 90 minutes into history. Well, epic stuff, and the best news of all, Catalan papers then report, is that Tito Vilanova should be back to manage them in the quarter-finals, just like in little Leo Messi's dream last week. Now, also in the urn for Friday's draw, but only just, are Bayern Munich, who of course got a scare and a half Wednesday night against Arsenal. A result which, as Süddeutsche Zeitung point out, left no one happy, that 2-0. Arsenal because they still went out of the tournament. Bayern because it spoiled their perfect world. Although there wasn't much motivation against the Gunners, says the paper, the most worrying point is that when Schweinsteiger and Ribéry are missing, like here, it is painful. Lots of other German papers quoting Uli Hoeneß, saying, we played like Dreck, do that again and it'll be 2 weeks' wages. Kicker though, the weekly magazine say, not to worry, they call it just a pimple on the smooth face of Bayern's season. Oh, we shall see. With matters anyway coming to a head, it's back to Spain, where Wednesday night saw Malaga also joining the quarter-final party, sailing past Porto. As Marca put it, Habimus Malaga. Got a lot of that this week. Sur, local paper, saluting them. Let the party continue, they say, on this most historic night ever. As have Super Malaga. Super stuff. Marca, meanwhile, pointing out that Malaga's inclusion makes it 3 Spanish sides now in the quarter-finals. Therefore, we are the masters of the tournament. And to think how bad things looked for Spanish football just a week ago. Well, it's an interesting viewpoint, but back in Germany, Bild are not so sure that the Spanish are the ones to watch. They say Borussia are better than Bayern, Barca and Mourinho, which doesn't begin with B, but anyway. Strange but true, says the paper. When it comes to the favourite for this tournament, the two best teams rarely get mentioned. They are, says Bild, having added up all of the group and knockout games so far, Paris Saint-Germain and Juventus, who have the best overall results so far. To explain, Barcelona have already been beaten, so have Bayern, and Real Madrid have the most goals conceded. The only two teams yet to be defeated are Juventus and Borussia. And says the paper, he who goes 8 Champions League games unbeaten can definitely win this trophy. Interesting. Not the view they're taking in Turin, though, where ahead of the draw it was Juve, Galatasary. Oh, we're in trouble. Well, in a busy week, let's finish off in Italy, a land famous, of course, for strange managerial decisions. David Platt at Sampdoria, that horse becoming pope, but nowhere more so than down in Palermo, home of Maurizio Zamparini, who has done it again. Yes, the man who has knocked off more coaches than Dick Turpin has fired another one this week, replacing, after just 2 games, the man who replaced the man who replaced the man who replaced the man he fired at the start of the season with the man he fired at the start of the season. Can it be? Yes, Zamparini makes it 5. As Gazzetta puts it, managers in Palermo are like the leaves of autumn. And they certainly do a lot of leaving. Well, there you go. He debuts against Milan on Sunday. If he makes it to half-time, I'll be surprised, Cernino. But that's where we come to the end of this week's paper review. Another one will be along next Friday. Hopefully, you'll be joining us for that.